Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology. Blacks in Technology.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Blacks in Technology Bit Tech Talk podcast, a show where we talk to people of color who are engineers, innovators, educators, inventors, entrepreneurs doing amazing things in the world of technology. This is a podcast where they share their stories, experiences, ideas, knowledge, and perspective on tech with the Bit community. I'm your host, Greg Greenlee, and we are broadcasting tonight, 9 p.m. This is June 23rd. And if this is your first time listening, you can check us out at the following URLs. We're at www.blacksandtechnology.net. You can sign up to become a member of Blacks in Technology there. We're currently over the 2,000 member mark. So go there, register, join the community. You can also follow us on the Twitters. We are at Black in Technology, BLKINTECHNOLOGY. We're also on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Blacks in Technology. And we also have a LinkedIn group under Blacks in Technology. There's also a Slack group where there's over, I think we've eclipsed, where are we at right now? I think 540 members now, 541 members on our Slack channel. So check us out on Slack as well. There's an invitation link on the Bit site. If you do a search for Slack, you'll find it there. And just come in and, join us, chat with us, engage with the community. So if you are on Twitter and you have any questions for our guests, tweet them to the hashtag BitTechTalk, BITTECHTALK. Blacks in Technology is a tech-focused community and media organization focused on increasing diversity in technology through increased visibility and participation of people of color in tech. We're always focused on forming new partnerships and opportunities to assist our members with their continued professional growth and development. So if you want to partner with us, send us an email to contact us at Blacks in Technology. That can be used also if you want to sponsor one of these podcasts or one of our meetups. We currently have meetups happening in Los Angeles, DC, Minneapolis, and there's one more. Where am I thinking? Oh, Houston is actually starting one. So if you want to sponsor any of those meetups, send us an email. Contact us at blacksandtechnology.net. All right, a few announcements before we get to our guest. We have just, I want to announce that we've just partnered with Usenix. In case you haven't heard of Usenix, they're an association. The Usenix Association is a community of engineers, systems administrators, scientists, and technicians working on the cutting edge of computing. So they have conferences, and it's, their conferences are essentially their meeting grounds for the presentation and the discussion of some of the most advanced information on the developments of all aspects of computing systems. So our partnership with them will enable our community, or members of our community, a select few members, with an opportunity to attend any or many of the numerous Usenix technology conferences. We did a write-up on it, so if you go to Blacks in Technology, you'll see more details about our partnership, and you can check out the technology conferences. And if you're interested, click on the link and send us an email, and we'll be sure to try to accommodate you. What else is happening? DevOps Chicago. We've partnered with DevOps Days quite a bit over the past year, a couple of years. So we've partnered once again with DevOps Chicago. Or DevOps Day Chicago, I should say. And they have their annual DevOps Tech Conference that's happening August 30th and the 31st. It's at the Summit West in downtown Chicago. We have sponsored passes for it, so if you're listening in, you're in the Chicago area and you want to take advantage and attend DevOps Day Chicago, I think there's a link on the site to fill out a form, and we have quite a few passes to give out. So if you're interested, fill out that form and let us know. DevOps Days Minneapolis is happening pretty soon. That's coming up on July 20th and 21st at the downtown Minneapolis Hilton Hotel, and we've partnered with them. So we have a select few tickets to attend DevOps Days Minneapolis. So if you're interested in that, go to the site, fill out the form there as well. And what else? Tech Up Cleveland. This is an organization that intentionally connects skilled tech professionals from underrepresented groups with hiring companies who believe that diversity is an advantage. They are hosting a summit that is happening this Tuesday coming up, June 28th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Music Box Supper Club at 1148 Main Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio. If you want more info on that, you can check out our site, blacksintechnology.net, or go directly to their site at www.wetekup.com/Cleveland. That's wetekup.com/Cleveland. Now jobs on our jobs board. So we have a few jobs that have been posted to our jobs board recently. We have Zapier, I don't know how you pronounce that, but they are hiring for an API engineer in a remote position, so you can be anywhere in the United States. InVenture is hiring for a DevOps engineer, and they're out of Santa Monica. And the Conservation Fund is hiring for a systems administrator, and they are out of Arlington, Virginia. If any of those jobs sound interesting to you, visit our site under the jobs board and submit your resume or apply there. And I want to announce Startup of the Week. This week's Startup of the Week is BeautyLink. BeautyLink provides an on-demand beauty service to any and every woman. They aim to eliminate the often tedious and inconvenient process of going to a hair salon. Their professionals provide high-quality beauty services at the convenience of the client's home, hotel, or etc. So congratulations to BeautyLink for being our Startup of the Week. You can check them out at www.beautylink, and that's LYNK.com. If you are interested in having your startup featured on our Startup of the Week, just go to our site. You can see the link at the bottom, and there's a form for you to fill out, and just fill out that form and we'll be in contact with you. All right, so tonight our guest is Melissa James. She is the president and CEO of the Tech Connection, the premier marketplace for purpose-driven, diverse technical talent. Her mission is to help people reach their highest potential by accelerating their individual pathway to success. Melissa has a strong track record of building high-performing teams for elite companies such as Google, Teradata, and local Boston businesses such as RA Capital and Sample 6. She is also the founder of the Black Tech Boston Meetup, a platform created to celebrate the impact of technology within African American communities, and she has served on the board of the Youth Institute of Science and Technology and the Young Black Women's Society. She has also been recognized as a Woman on the Move by Boston Business Journal. She recently received the U.S. Presidential Service Award and the 2015 Pursuer Award from the African Youth Excellence Organization for her relentless commitment to the community. She graduated with honors from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. So I want to welcome Melissa to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Greg. I really appreciate it. Super excited to share with my community what we've been up to and learn more about all the really awesome stuff that's happening. So thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. We kind of when did we actually link up? I think that was like 1 or 2 years ago, maybe last year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, just as I was getting started with the Tech Connection. It was just really great to see that I was doing market research, wanting to kind of see who was out here, really wanting to support underrepresented groups, and it was so great to come across your site, learn a little bit more about you, and hop on a quick phone call. So it was really great. I appreciate you listening to all my crazy ideas, and now it's turned into a full-blown business. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with you and vibe off of one another.
Yeah, it's good to see, when we talked last year, like you said, you were just starting, so it's great to see the success that you've had and how your business has grown. But before we get into all that, let's get into a little bit about you. Tell us where you're from. Give us a little bit of background on you, your education.
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. My family's West Indian, Caribbean, West Indian by background. My parents are from Jamaica and St. Kitts Nevis, and I grew up here in Boston. So it's been really great to be in a really innovative economy for quite some time. I think I'm kind of spoiled in that way. So it's been really nice to have lots of startups around. I went to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, And I studied actually journalism and legal studies, slightly different than where we are today. But in a Caribbean household, you can only be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a nurse. At that time, I chose to be a lawyer, and then graduated in the middle of the recession. So that didn't quite pan out the way that I thought that it would, but it's been a really beautiful journey since then.
Excellent, excellent. So how'd you stumble into the world of technology?
It's such a funny question. So after I graduated, I ended up doing AmeriCorps for a year, and that's when I realized that I didn't really love law, mainly because the resolutions were just taking so long. How we came to resolutions were solely based off of, I guess, written agreements that were somewhat archaic, in my opinion, and not really relevant to the situations that people are going through today. So after I did AmeriCorps, I remember my boyfriend at the time, I was telling him, like, I'm really interested in business. I'm really curious about it. I've never had an opportunity to really learn more about the business side of things. And I came across this startup called Sample 6. And Sample 6 was a spin-out from MIT and Harvard, and they were looking for an office manager to join their team. And I was like, an office manager? Like, what does that really mean? What does that entail? So I would essentially be working right underneath the founder, doing operations, accounting, HR, and I was just like, yeah, we'll see, like, let's go. I'll go to the interview, see what it's about. And I remember going, and I felt like my manager was, like, stone cold mean during the interview. I was like, I don't even think they like me. I'm not really sure. I felt really insecure about the interview. And my boyfriend at the time, so I went through the interview, finished it, and they called me like 15 minutes later, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're totally hired. We'd love for you to start like Monday. Can you start? And I was just like, whoa, I don't even know if I like this company. And it was my boyfriend at the time that actually convinced me to take the job. We kind of talked about like the company stage, why would it be important, how much I could learn from being at a startup. And I was like, I'm not really sure, but you know what? Some of the things that what you're saying is making sense. I'll give it a shot and kind of see if I like it. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. My manager and now my mentor and really good friend, Michael Kors, was like the best person that I could have ever asked for as a manager, and still someone that I rely on today. So my experience was kind of hopping into a startup. Sample 6 was on a mission to detect foodborne pathogens in food processing plants. So they were looking for Listeria, Salmonella, and E. coli. A very important mission to everybody. We all need healthy food. Not only were they building the detection system, they were also building a software platform. So I got to kind of see the world of biotech first before I fully immersed into a segment of technology. So it was really cool to kind of be a part of a young startup. I was employee number 7 for them, and then I ended up growing the team to about 30 people before I left.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. You know, that's very, very untraditional when it comes to getting into the tech world. But it's great that you have that story, because there's a lot of people out there that think that that you have to start out like that you have to be like an engineer, or that you have to be that into tech when you were in high school or when you were in grade school, and that's not the case at all. And so it's good to hear, the other side, I should say, of how people get into tech. So very interesting.
Yeah, and I actually thought it was like a really fun experience because I actually got to be very familiar with the agile process. We were using it, as how we kind of organize the team and the projects that needed to get done. And as the office manager, I was at the epicenter of the organization. So anytime meetings were getting done, board meetings, sprint sessions, what iterations we were going to do next, I was involved in all of that stuff. So nice. I got to see really a really great view of the company. So I was familiar with engineering principles long before I knew the actual terminology to use. So I guess I got to learn through feeling and through experience, which I think is kind of the best way to see the importance of why sprint sessions are cool, why it's important to have milestones, and really being able to kind of go through that process. So I thought it was just really cool, and I just assumed that this is the way you think when you come to a corporate business. That was the first time that I had ever done that. So it was just really great exposure and one of the best things that I could have ever done.
So, do you use those experiences in your business now? Because the reason why I asked, I was on a, I was watching a Google Hangout with a good friend of mine from HBCU, the startup. Her name is Idea, and she has this Google Hangout where she talks to people of color who are employees at different tech startup companies, and she provides this as a resource back to these HBCU schools. And one of the questions that I had for her was, um, the students who are not familiar with, I guess, the rigors of like corporate or startup life, kind of um, how do they, how does, what's the best way for them to kind of acclimate themselves to it before actually starting a job? So, for instance, you have the Scrum, you have the Agile methodologies. Is that something that they can read up on and learn before they go into these interviews? So, for my question to you is, are you taking those type of experiences when you're helping people out through the Tech Connection and kind of, you know, giving them your experiences and say, hey, this is what it's like in the tech startup world or the tech world, period. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely does make sense, and it's definitely something that we think very deeply about at the Tech Connection. Your career is something that it's an honor for us to be able to help you with because you're trusting us with something that's extremely important. It affects everything in your life. I want to share everything that I've learned from working at a small startup to working at a large organization. There are
Right.
so many nuances and so many differences that come with that. So as we talk with our candidates, we're really looking to understand, like, kind of where's your mindset at? What are you trying to accomplish? Where are your skill sets? And how do we align you to a job opportunity that actually makes sense for you? So it's not just about like, oh my gosh, we have 20 job openings. We're going to tell you about all 20 of them. Like traditional
Right.
staffing firms, like we're really trying to make sure that we're finding the right fit because I realize how important that is to setting up a candidate for success in their job.
Right.
And I think it's something that oftentimes as an underrepresented group, you don't really get a chance to kind of think about. Like you're usually just grateful that you got a job, you're getting paid, you're like, thank goodness, oh my gosh, now I don't have to worry so much, I can pay my bills. But this is actually a very important conversation to have with yourself and to really think about your direction as you design your career. So our goal is to help take one step forward and your steps towards designing your career and really helping you to think strategically about how you accomplish your goals.
So, and that's great. So I got my question. I to pose to you is how are you actually doing that? So it's one thing to say, we help people, but what's the process like? Is there like tooling that you use, or is it, what is there some type of method that you use in order to extract that type of information and get people kind of to see what their potential is and walk those steps?
Absolutely. So a lot of our processes, like our recruiters are trained on diversity recruitment, really understanding how to look at resumes, how to have meaningful conversations in a way
Hmm.
that people feel comfortable sharing this very intimate conversation about their career, it being transparent about some of their flaws, what things they're good at, what things they're not good at. And
Right.
really, we aim to create this very safe space to have those conversations. So all of our recruiters are trained on this. I've been now recruiting for 5 years, so everybody follows the same process that we use to have conversations. We really want to feel. We want it to feel more like, hey, this is your networking buddy, your career coach. It's going through this process with you. We're here with you side by side to make sure you're set up for success. So that's our goal every day. Traditionally, it's been a very manual process. We will be rolling out our own software platform in the fall, which we're really excited about, called Power Up. Power Up is our way of really being able to give to the world the same type of career services that we've been able to provide one-on-one with each of our candidates. We're now going to be able to streamline this and make it really easy for candidates to get great feedback about kind of their self-awareness, their technical skills, and to
Right.
be able to match to job opportunities that make sense for them.
Ah, that's very exciting because and it's very needed. And um, the whole, candidate um, recruiter experience is sometimes not a good one. um, because you get a
Mhm.
lot of, some of these recruiters out here that really just care about, um, placing somebody and not really caring about the person themselves. The good ones do. I'm not saying they all do. The good ones care. But there are there are people out there that have had bad experiences with recruiters, and any way to make that relationship, more genuine, more organic is always a good thing. So excellent, excellent.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
absolutely. And like, mhm.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I've been on the other side of this. Actually, how I found my job at Sample Six was through a recruiter. I had a horrible experience with that recruiter prior to that. I think that they were, just inundated with other job orders that they needed to fill. I was kind of like a last priority, and it just so happened that they ended up being able to connect me with Sample Six, which was a really great opportunity, and I'm really grateful for that. But I've had experiences with recruiters too where, hey, it's not always the best. Like, everybody's kind of inundated with a lot of work. So we really want to make sure that we're having meaningful conversations about career
Hmm.
development. If we're not having them at home, we need to be having them someplace
And
and
I
with our
agree.
career coaches.
Definitely, definitely. So you have a statement or a quote in your bio that you believe that every individual should live by one principle, and that's to be the CEO of you. I thought that was very striking quote there. So tell us what you mean by being the CEO of you, and how do you get people to kind of understand and live by that concept?
That's a great question. So being the CEO of you is like really thinking about, like, what does the CEO do at an organization? The CEO is responsible for all the good things that happen at an organization, all the bad things that happen at an organization,
Hmm.
setting the strategy, thinking strategically on how we're going to get to the milestones that we need to be at. At the end of the day, the CEO is accountable for everything that happens to the organization. I believe that it's super important for each individual contributor to really think, like, how am I going to be held accountable for me reaching my career goals, thinking strategically on how I'm going to accomplish my milestones. Like, as much as we are great, like, we're always looking for new job opportunities, I truly believe that we need to be strategic about the job opportunities that we take on. We need to be
Right.
very thoughtful about why are we taking this job? What does it mean to me? What am I going to learn? Does it align with my curiosity? Do I get excited about the work that I'm doing in order for us to be professionals and experts in a particular area? I think so often we neglect our career, and then we end up 10 years like down the road, and then we say we're unhappy. We
Right.
don't know why we did this job in the first place. I truly believe that if you are very thoughtful about your career and your approach, doors will open for you, and I can tell you more about that through some of our other experiences, but doors will open for you when you're thinking strategically about how you design your career. You need to be just as strategic as a CEO is about making $1 million in profits as you are about your own career.
Very interesting because I know for me, I suck at strategy. I'll be honest. I
I appreciate
never.
the honesty. Let's talk about it.
What's that?
I said I appreciate the honesty. Let's talk about it so we can come up with an action plan for it.
Yeah, we'll have to take this offline and do that. But yeah, yeah, but no, seriously. It and it's it, there's I guess a science to being strategic about anything really, right? I was just talking with a person yesterday. We were There's a group of us here in Cincinnati called the Black Founders Network, and we brought in a speaker, and he deems himself. He's the type of person that thinks strategically and kind of thinks more of the bigger picture. Um, and he gave this. Wasn't really it was more like a presentation to help us, achieve our goals that were seeking as a group. And I was just kind of
Mm.
blown away, and I'm just like, how do you even get to that point to where you're thinking on that level all the time, not just with certain things, but with everything, you kind of look at it through this lens, this strategic lens, and kind of how do you get to that point? How do you help people
Mm,
get to that
that's
point?
a great. Yeah, like it's honestly like a tough skill to learn, and I think oftentimes like we see it and we go, oh my gosh, I wish I could get there, but to me personally, as like a Jamaican American, like my parents, there's one thing that my parents always knew how to do, which is work hard and hustle. My mom is a CNA. My dad works as a hospitality coordinator at one of the local hospitals, and they've always worked two jobs. I
Hmm.
assumed that when I graduated, everybody works two jobs. That's how we get money. I thought that's what you just had to do when you got into the workforce. I was working two jobs at Sample Six, and they were like, "Why are you working two jobs?" I thought that's what you had to do. You just had to hustle to get money because you just never know when your next paycheck is going to come. I had no kids. I had no reason to have two jobs, but I just assumed that's what you need to do. But when it comes to being strategic, and why I bring that up is because being strategic is really very similar to hustling. Like you're hustling at that point in my career, and for my parents, they're hustling to make money to put food on the table. When it comes to being strategic about your career and what you're trying to accomplish, it's very similar. You're still
Right.
hustling to figure out, how am I going to get to that VP of engineering role? How am I going to get to that next level where I'm the HR business partner? How do I get to the CEO position? So you really have to, one, be willing to put your all into it, want to study the environment that you're in, and to see, like, how can I take advantage of opportunities? Rule number one of hustling is making sure that you can see opportunities when they're in front of you. So your manager's coming to you at 5 o'clock on Friday night saying, hey, man, we have a big presentation. We need to give it to the C-level staff. Can you help me put it together? It's like, yeah, I can help you put it together, but I want to present it. Can I present it for everybody? Yes, that's more work. Yes, that means that it's going to be that you're probably not going to have much of a weekend, but here's an opportunity for you to get visibility into the
Right.
organization. Why not take it? You got to be ready at any time. It's just like you're hustling out for, you got to get food on the table. You got to get money today. Those opportunities that happen at work are ways for you to think strategically about how you get what you need and what you want so that you can move up the ladder. I think so that's like, one example of how to recognize strategies. And I've learned strategies from some of my colleagues, to be quite honest. I
Hmm.
remember times when I worked at Google, and I remember there was one colleague in particular that I thought was very fascinating, super smart, super bright, loved her work ethic and what she did. And I remember one day they made an announcement that she was getting promoted to a position more senior than my own manager. And I was like, wait, what? Like, how did this happen? And I ended up like looking at her calendar, and I was like, oh, how did this girl do this? This is so interesting to me. Like, I'm over here thinking head down, focus on the work, just get it done, Melissa. Like, be grateful. You got a job at Google. Like, my whole family's counting on me, excited about it. And what I noticed on her calendar was that she was having coffee syncs. She was having coffee syncs with senior management on a regular basis, letting them know about ideas that she had, offering to use like her free time or availability to help out on additional projects. She was, just as much as she was getting her work done, and she was excellent at getting her work done, she was also being very thoughtful about who she reached out to, what kind of
Mm.
conversation she was having. She was on a mission and on a plan, and she accomplished it. She was what they call a moonshot. She
Right.
was moving so quickly through the organization, no one could doubt it. And that's when I realized, oh, got it. There's an other strategy that people are putting out here, and that's how they're moving ahead. It's not just about the work. There's some other dynamics that are happening here that I need to be paying attention to in order to see the value of taking on opportunities as you grow. So that's how you kind of think strategically, is really understanding like what's the opportunity in front of me, who are the resources or people that I can talk to help me move in the direction I want to get to as quickly as possible.
Very, very insightful. I definitely thank you for that. That actually helped me as well, and I'm pretty sure it helped any of our anyone who's listening right now. And we are live right now. We're
Okay.
speaking with Melissa James, CEO and president of the Tech Connection, and also the founder of the Black Tech Boston Meetup Group. If you're listening in, want to ask our guest a question, tweet them to us using the hashtag BitTechTalk, BITTECHTALK. So tell us about the Tech Connection. Give us a little bit of information about what it is, why you started it, and what's your vision for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started the Tech Connection right after I left Google, really thinking like, here I was working at Google, working on the diversity and outreach team, wanting to recruit more engineers, and I felt like I was learning a ton about diversity recruiting. And what I realized is that like our process just wasn't right about our approach, what we were expecting from candidates, what we wanted to accomplish. At a large organization, we're moving so quickly, and we're trying to hire so quickly that we really have very limited resources and time to like sit down and have full-on conversations and to really cheerlead for our candidates and to let them know that we're here for them. So the reason for why I decided to leave is because like it just wasn't aligned with my vision. I didn't feel like this was the best way to go about recruiting. I would make suggestions. They're a 70,000 person company. The timing just wasn't aligned. I was used to being at a startup when I made suggestions, they became realities next week. I worked on them. We came up with action plans and got it done. So to me, I thought that was really strange that like when I made suggestions, I knew that it was going to be coming down the pike. Maybe, perhaps, we'll have to review, talk to some more folks. That wasn't a good fit for me. I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, I see a problem here. This is a problem that I'm passionate about, a problem that I want to solve because job opportunities really affect underrepresented groups way more than it does to privileged groups. So I realized that there's so much more work that I could do if I were out on my own. So I started the Tech Connection, really wanting to help our candidates find job opportunities that make sense for them, and really helping to have these career development conversations so that we can start thinking strategically about how we get from one point to the next, because that is the reason or how we'll be able to move up to management level positions in an organization and be seen as a resource at every company. So I knew that this was something that I was passionate about. I knew that I cared deeply about career development, and I felt like this is the way that I could give back. So we started off just wanting to recruit talent, place them at the right job opportunities, and make sure that they were working at really innovative companies getting stuff done. I knew the value of being at a startup. I knew the value of being on a small team, and I just loved that so much, and I wanted to share it with the world. So it's been great to build employer partnerships with people that are committed to diversity, who want to open doors so that people can have access to these types of opportunities. It's been really fantastic to see the support behind our business, and the candidates that we've been able to help as well, because for many of them, this is their first time considering working at a small or mid-sized company, or even talking about why would I want to go to a larger company, what's the benefit here. So it's been really one of the most exciting career opportunities that I've ever had, and something that I truly love to do.
Excellent. And are you just servicing the Boston area, or are you kind of nationwide? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. So we're in the Boston area for right now. We'll be expanding to 5 new cities next year.
Oh, very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. We've been working hard. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that have come through us and to our network, who's been opening a lot of doors for us. Like when they say, like, you know, tell the world what you want, and
Right.
like they're all listening to you, they really mean it. And it's been really great to see so many people support our business.
So how are your relationships with the candidates? So for instance, you know, you all take on a candidate, you get that candidate placed. Are you all, you know, do you do any follow-ups, or do you kind of keep them in the pipeline and you know, just to, you know, see how if they're being successful? How does that work?
Absolutely. So we definitely do follow-ups. We check in on how was your first day, how are you finding conversations with your manager, did you guys talk about the 30, 60, 90-day goals for this role? We want to make sure our candidates are set up for success and we understand the clear objectives that they need to accomplish. having that clarity makes it a lot easier for the candidate, makes it a lot easier for the employer. It shows your commitment to your role and what you want to get done. Many times we've taken our candidates out for dinner just to catch up. How are things going? You've been in your job for 90 days. How are you feeling about it? Do you feel like management's being supportive of your ideas? Have you been presenting ideas to management on how you think the company could grow, how you think the company could increase revenue? Really just having like a great conversation, but being very thoughtful about like, where are you at the company right now? What are you trying to accomplish? Have you thought about it? You've been there for 90 days. What's the plan, Stan? Are really our conversations. Our goal is, we get you in the door, but we want to make sure that we're thinking strategically about how we get you to the next level. So we very much so are involved with our candidates, and we often, like from time to time, we are limited in very small startup. We'll even send them care packages just to say, like, hey, like, you're doing a great job. You're paving the way right now. Keep up the great work. We're really proud of you. We send out, just recently we started sending out women in tech care packages because we feel like you deserve this. Like you're doing a lot of really great work, and we just hope that you're having a great day today. So those are some of the things that we do to keep our candidates excited about coming to work every day, motivated to do a great job. And we also have our meetup group. The meetup group, the Black Tech Boston Meetup, I created it as a way for African Americans to have access to opportunities where they can just informally chat with other people that are Black and in tech, just like you did. And I think we share a very similar mission and why we wanted to create this. I get it. I've been at the Fortune 500 company and being the only Black person in the office and how uncomfortable that feels. But I had to ask myself, like, am I the only person that feels this way? Or are there other people that are African American and in tech that care about the same causes that I do? And the answer was yes. So the meetup group is free for them to come. They're always welcome to bring friends, to talk about technology and to learn more. So it's been a really great experience. So those networking opportunities, I think, is, the best part about coming into our family. We're not only here to make sure that you're thinking strategically about your career, but we're a community cheering for you. So it's always great. When we have our meetups, it's like a family reunion all over again.
Excellent. And we're going to get a little bit more into the about the Black Tech Boston meetup. But I think it's great that you do this follow up, because one of the things that and this is just talking to from having me, I have a young daughter who's in the workforce, and also just talking to younger people within the big community. And one of the things that I see that's kind of lacking is this kind of sense of knowing their own value, right, within the workplace, and also that coaching and that mentoring. And it's not just a one, it's a having it as a constant thing in their careers. And so they can constantly be reminded of what the big picture is, and how to move and maneuver in the corporate world, and not only that, but in the tech world. So that type of service is something that is sorely needed in our community, because a lot of people, they don't know what they don't know, right? And you can't fault them for not knowing. The best thing to do is to try to help them in those situations. I can actually say that that I went through that same thing of not really knowing how to think about what my next move is, and think about my value to an employer. And I was kind of in this mindset of what's the right way to phrase this? Just the mindset of this utmost loyalty to who I'm working for, and not and kind of you know what I'm saying, and not really knowing my worth. And it took a while for me to come to the realization that, hey, I'm valuable to them, and
Right.
if I leave, then they're in some trouble as well. So it's
Right. We're
not
both in trouble.
right. So I think that's a very valuable thing to offer as a service and to teach, especially people of color who don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, I think that what's so interesting is that, when it comes to your career, there are opportunities. You have a career counselor when you're in high school, a
Right.
career services when you're in college, but the moment that you graduate and you actually need career counseling and advice, there's nobody to be found. And that's the most
Right.
frustrating component of being an adult. Like, you have all of these great dreams when you're young and you're a kid because they're making you think about what do you want to be when you grow up and asking all these really great questions. But when it comes to the real world and the real time, when the rubber meets the road, nobody's there to catch you. It's all on you. And
Yeah.
that's the part that I felt like was really important, and it's something that we wanted to make sure that we were solving. So we have really great conversations with our candidates. It was so funny that you mentioned, like, you don't know what you don't know. I remember one time talking to a candidate, and I said, I'm calling you. Like, I think you have a really great background. I really enjoyed your conversation. You're really thinking hard about your career. I'm just curious to know, what are you looking for in terms of salary for your next role? And she told me her current salary. She's like, that'd be fine, like maybe $5K more than that. And I was just like, I'm going to pause for a moment. I want you to think about your answer. And I'm going to have a conversation with my friend. And my friend is sitting right next to me. I really wish candidates would ask me, what's the salary range for a role? Because if you ask me that question, I have to answer that question, and then we can have an open conversation. I finished and then I got back on the phone. I was like, I just finished my conversation with my friend. How's it going? Sorry about putting you on hold. How can I help? So where were we? And she was just like, I had no idea that's how this works. And I was like, this is how all of this works. We have to be paying attention as we go through this process. These are the most important questions that you need to be asking, because these jobs are something that you'll be taking on for a long time. I want you to be happy in your role. I don't want you living paycheck to paycheck. You're not happy coming to work. Your coworkers start to see it. That's not the type of results that I want for you and for our community. I need you to ask questions. Be mad curious. Know the details. Say, yeah, that works for my budget. No, that doesn't work for my budget. And she goes, what's the salary range? Little did she know, through our conversation and through chatting with us, by the time she finished and got her job offer, she was making $20,000 more plus a 20% annual bonus every year. And she was like, I had no idea. That's what you're supposed to do. And I was like, yeah. This is a difference between, like, literally asking questions is a difference between, for her, almost $30,000 that she could have missed out on.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of money in asking one simple question. And I think that that's so important for us to be able to think very strategically about. It's like, I need to know the details. It's not just about getting excited about job opportunities anymore. And that's why I say, like, be the CEO of you. Understand, what are we really getting into here? Does this really work for me? How can you help me to achieve my goals? If I'm moving and changing jobs, there's a lot that goes into it. Will this be an added plus for me and move me in the right direction?
Wow, that's powerful. And I'm glad that's the approach that you're taking with the Tech Connection, because it's, like I said, it's needed. And let me does the Tech Connection have a blog as well, or is it just?
Yeah, absolutely. Check out our blog. We've got a blog on our site, The Tech Connection Inc. We're giving out wisdom every time as we write our blogs, sharing what we know, sharing what we see. I think that underrepresented groups have a lot of value that they can add. Some of the things that we've been doing for a long time within our own communities is something that the tech community can really benefit from, and we need to be willing to share those ideas and feel confident in the things that we're saying. One of the best things Mike, my manager at Sample 6, did which I like really appreciate. He'd always say, Melissa, what do you think we should do? I was like, I don't know. I'm 21. I have no idea why this, like, he's grown. He's asking me what we should do. He's the founder of the company. But having those questions and those tests, to me, were one of the best things you could have ever have done. Your ideas matter, is what he was saying to me in that moment. I want to know what your thoughts are and how you think we should get this done. And if it makes sense, I'm happy to hear your ideas and we can get it done. And that was one of the best things that any manager could ever do. And I'm very grateful for Mike to be, for Mike being able to be a part of that. And I don't know. I think that, could I ever have gotten a job at Google on my own? Perhaps. But so I think that having that confidence and that ability to feel bought into your team came from having a really great manager. I have to say I feel very strongly about that.
Excellent. If you're tuning in, we're actually towards the end of our show, but we are live, and we're speaking with Melissa James, CEO and President of the Tech Connection, and also the founder of the Black Tech Boston Meetup Group. We're talking about diversity. We're talking about how to be strategic in your career. We're talking about knowing your worth in your career, and we're also talking about being the CEO of you. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about you being the founder of the Black Tech Boston Meetup. I think when we first met, you were actually just now getting the Black Tech Boston Meetup started. So tell us, a little bit about what the group is about, what the format of these meetups are, how many other meetups have you had, and how many participants do you have?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So we host our meetups quarterly. We've had about 6 meetups so far. So we started in March of 2015. Google was a great partner with us as we kicked that off, talking about innovation within the Black Tech community. And it's been great. So we started off, honestly, with me just saying, like, I don't know if there's going to be any other Black people besides my handful of friends I know that would show up. And I said, when we get to maybe we'll only get 20 people sign up. They can come to our office, no problem. Then it grew to 30. Then it grew to 40. Then it grew to 100. And I was like, holy smokes, like, this thing's starting to take off. I've got to take this, like, really seriously. So I reached out to Google and I said, hey, I've got this meetup group. Like, we would just be so grateful if you guys could, share your space with us. We'd love to come. And they were like, absolutely, all hands on deck. We'd be happy to help out. And it was just like a really great experience. And at our first meetup, we had over 150 people show up just to say, like, wow, like, one, I had no idea that Google was here in Cambridge. 2, I'm curious to learn more about technology. We had high school students, college students, professionals showing up, and it was just like one of the best moments of my career. The feedback that we got from that event was that it was one of the best meetups they've ever been to in the city of Boston. And It was because it felt like we were with a community of doers that wanted to get things done. There's no reason for why we can't be a part of these innovative companies, and here we are. So it was just like one of the most amazing experiences that I ever had, and it was a really special moment for me because this was my way of giving back to my community. Like, this is the beauty of all of the work that we do every single day. We just want you to see why tech is so cool and why you need to be in it, and what are the opportunities here to be building and designing how society will function in the next couple of years. So it was just like so great to have so many people show up and to open access to it. In Boston, there's the urban area, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, and Google and some of our other hiring partners are in Kendall Square, just across the river, 20 minutes away, and so many of our attendees had no idea that Google was here.
Wow. And
it was just so surreal. You don't know what you don't know, and we're about increasing awareness and wanting to make sure that that, like, you don't have to go to Silicon Valley. You don't need to go to Seattle. You don't need to go to Texas. There's great, innovative stuff happening right here in your back door. Let's build together.
That's excellent, and kudos to your efforts in getting that going. The meetup group. I know those type of meetups can be challenging, especially when you are not sure if anyone's going to show up, and it's also hard to keep those. It's hard to keep those going, especially when it's kind of a more of a general type of meetup as opposed to something specific, such as like a Python meetup group or something like that. Because then it's all
Mm.
about what type of topics are you going to have that's going to resonate with everyone and not just a select few. So that's always a challenge, especially when you're having a more of a general type of audience as opposed to kind of a niche audience. So um, that's great. We have actually a question that came. I posted this on LinkedIn that we were doing this podcast, and Justin Grayman wanted me to ask you about your experience at Mass Challenge. He said he almost met you, but he didn't for some reason.
What was his last name? Justin what?
Justin Grayman.
Freeman? Raymond. And he's in
Grayman.
Boston?
Where's Justin?
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah,
is.
like you can look it up and let me know. That's
Oh no,
interesting.
he's
Well,
actually
Justin, if you're listening.
he's actually he's actually in Tennessee. He goes to college in Tennessee, but he had
Oh,
uh,
gotcha.
Blacks in Technology. We sponsored part of his trip to the Mass Challenge.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Well, if you guys are ever in town, like, let me know. Like, let's, meet together. I know Mass Challenge very well. I'm actually a mentor for Mass Challenge alumni this year. I've known Mass Challenge for a very long time. The first company that I worked at, Sample 6, was actually a Mass Challenge alumni. So I started working with Sample 6 just as they graduated. So I was
Can
employee
you give
number
us a
7
little
for
bit of
them. So
information about what Mass Challenge is and what it's about?
oh, yeah. Absolutely. So Mass Challenge is an accelerator program for businesses. They provide access to classes and consultants to really help jumpstart your business. It's a 4-month accelerator, and really they do a great job of connecting you to the right people. They accept 128 startups for Route 128 here in Boston, and it's one of the most amazing accelerator programs that there is and one of the hardest ones to get into. So I was very grateful and very lucky to be working with a Mass Challenge alumni right out of college. So I've gotten very
Nice.
familiar with like how they kind of run their team and how they think and how they want to grow their team strategically. So I got to learn a lot about that this year. They asked me to be a mentor, which I'm very excited about. So I get to mentor startups that are going through the program now and give them advice on like how to build their team, who do you need to be connecting with, and really helping them get there. So I often give workshops on the best way to build teams, how to find the right personality fit for you at different company stages. Because I've now seen companies grow from a one-woman shop to a 30-person team to a 50-person team to a 70,000-person corporation.
Wow. All right. Okay. Very interesting. So you served on the board for the Youth Institute and Science and Technology, and also the Young Black Women's Society. Give us a brief summary of what those organizations are about and what your role was in each of them.
Yeah, sure. So for the Youth Institute of Science and Technology, that was started by UMass Amherst alumni, Shannon McGee, who went to Ghana, and she realized the need for learning more about science and technology in rural areas. So I went there an undergrad, really wanting to volunteer, teach about leadership development, and help people think strategically about their schools. Like they were primary school age, so they were in 1st to 5th grade, and wanting them to think, why is schoolwork important? How can I get my homework done and make sure that I'm like staying on top of it and being helpful in class? And that was something that was really important to me because I've always wanted to travel abroad. I love to travel. I love to give back to underserved communities. So I went to Ghana twice, actually, while I was an undergrad, and then later served on their board to help grow the organization, not just from from just a elementary school to a high school. So that was something that was really important to me and that I cared a lot about. And then the Young Black Women's Society is a nonprofit organization here in Boston. I served on their leadership team, and there I helped do professional development classes. Little did I know that this is also leading into kind of my passion for the Tech Connection and what I wanted to give back. So their focus is working with women the ages of 18 to 35 and helping them to create a community around civic leadership, career development, or professional development, and growth.
Excellent. And before we get out of here, tell us, what's next for you and what's next for Tech Connection?
Oh man, well they're one and the same right now. Everything that is me is the Tech Connection, and the Tech Connection is me. So this is my baby. This is my full-time focus. We've now grown our team to about 6 people and expanding every day as we think strategically. My team works hard, and I'm really grateful for them and their resources that they provide. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into making sure that we're really great at what we do. As I mentioned, we're launching our software platform in the fall. So if you are a developer or a software engineer, IT help desk, any of those positions, feel free to sign up for our platform, as this is where our employers will be looking to find more talent, and we want to make sure that you're getting aligned to the right job opportunities. As I mentioned, your career is something that we are honored to help you design. We want to make sure that you're achieving your goals as quickly and as efficiently to get you there. My passion that I have for designing your career is the same passion that every recruiter on our team has as well, and we are happy to help you on your journey to becoming successful. We just want to make sure you get there. So definitely check out the website, thetechconnectioninc.com. Sign up, create your profiles. We're creating new updates every day. We'd love to have you there. Love your feedback as well. If you feel like there's something, we are a growing startup. If you feel like there's something that's missing or other features that you would love to have in our platform, let us know. Our CTO, Frank Jeffrey, is great. He'd be happy to build something to accommodate your needs. And you can send those requests to info@thetechconnectioninc.com, and we'd be happy to make this as valuable as it can be, because this is for our community. We want to make sure that we're all being very thoughtful about our next steps and making sure that success is not just something that we talk about, but something that we achieve.
Excellent. And you're also on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
Oh, @MissJames126 is my personal Twitter handle. Feel free to check it out. I do check it personally. And then for the Tech Connections, it's @_TechConnect_.
Excellent. Well, Melissa, I definitely thank you for joining us tonight and sharing your stories and sharing your experiences and your information about the Tech Connection. And we wish you much success. And when you launch that software, definitely let us know, because we want to help get the word out there and promote it. We always look for ways to support the members within our community and within our larger network. So we definitely want to help you promote that, and just keep in touch. I think I want to do some, if possible, do some content sharing with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, Melissa.
Oh, Greg, so much. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're definitely welcome. Much success. Take care.
Thank you too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Greg, you still there?
And that's it for this episode of the Blacks in Technology Big Tech Talk podcast. Thanks to our guest, Melissa James. If you like what you heard tonight and want to let us know, you have any suggestions or comments, email them to us at contactus@blacksintechnology.net. Let me see. In a couple of weeks, now I got to check the calendar. I should have had the calendar up here. Who's going to be our guest in a couple of weeks here? On the 7th, we have McKinney. I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize. McKinney of DevColor. Yeah, I think that. So if you haven't heard of let me see what that website is. Dev Color. He is the founder of Dev Color, and I think they're based out of the Bay Area. DevColor.org. It's a nonprofit organization that aims to advance the careers of black software engineers. He's going to be our guest in 2 weeks. So definitely join us in 2 weeks. And remember, tech yourself before you wreck yourself. Take care. Have a good night.
Blacks in technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.
So much for having me.
Blacks in technology.
Yeah, so this is great. Dev Color actually is a startup that I'm